Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. On July 25th, 2016, it's reported that a 19-year-old member of ISIS beheaded a Catholic priest in Normandy, France. This story is more purposeful propaganda meant to scare Westerners into believing that there is an Islamic boogeyman out there that could get them at any moment. This propaganda comes on the back of all of the ISIS-blamed attacks in France. Each of those stories has been coded propaganda by the numbers, which I have exposed and shown how they have all synced together. This story is no different. We are going to decode it right now. If you're new here, I talk about numerology and gematria because they are the languages that these Zionist Jews speak in who control the media and who have created this false boogeyman, ISIS. The Zionist Jews hate Muslims, and with this propaganda, they teach the people of the world to have the same hatred for Islamic people. The true terrorists of this world are the Zionist Jews. If you're going to hate anyone, that's who you should be aiming it at. Let me show you how they contrive this news one more time. If you're new here, if this is the first video of mine you've ever seen, please be sure to go back and watch the many other videos I've done. We'll also revisit the Bastille Day attack, which was another coded hoax by the numbers, having synchronicity with this story. So the day this was breaking news, CNN had it as their front page story, terror in name of ISIS. Anytime the media puts those emphasis on a phrase, there's coded gematria in there. Terror in name of ISIS sums to 227. This is a very special number, a number coded into false flags, propaganda, very often. The reason why is because of the significance of the number. Let me show you this. If you divide 22 by the number 7, you get the number for pi, having to do with cycles and circles. And the Zionist Jews, they create this propaganda in ongoing cycles to keep people conditioned to the ongoing message they want them to have. And this message is, there's an Islamic threat out there that needs to be dealt with military force, stepped up policing, and taxpayer dollars. When you write out 22 divided by 7 in gematria, it sums to 314, a lot like 3.14, the number 4 pi. Again, cycles and circles, pi, radius, circumference. Remember what you learned about in geometry class? So that's why that headline is coded that way. The Zionist Jews know this is just another ongoing story in the ongoing cycle. CNN also had this top story, priest killed in ISIS-inspired attack, French president says. When the story first broke, they said the priest was 84 years old, which made me laugh because they had just said that 84 people were killed on Bastille Day, exactly 84 days after the movie Bastille Day came out. If you haven't seen my video on the movie, we'll revisit that. You can always go back and watch the video I put out weeks ago. But anyhow, they said that the teenager who killed the 84-year-old priest at first, later his age would turn to 86, but they said that the ISIS-inspired teenager was 19 years old. And 19 is a very important number to the Quran and its coding. All the spiritual texts are coded with numbers. 19 is very specific to the Quran, the Islamic holy book. Remember, Muhammad Ali just died recently. For his funeral, they had a 19-mile procession. They chose the number 19. Muhammad Ali, who became a Muslim after becoming the boxing champion of the world. There's a reason they code these numbers over and over again. Last year, about this time, there's a story of a young black teenager, 19 years old, getting recruited to ISIS out of Chicago. I think there's been a few more stories like that since, but there's a reason they say the attacker's 19 years old, and it has everything to do with coded propaganda by the numbers. They also said the attack took place in Normandy. Normandy has gematria 41. The date numerology of the attack was also a date with a life lesson number of 41. USA also has gematria 41. 41's the 13th prime. The USA began with 13 colonies. Remember, the American Revolution was followed by the French Revolution. Think about how many elected officials in the United States at the beginning of the country were spending a lot of time in France. The French Revolution is credited to the Bavarian Illuminati, which was established May 1st, 1776, 2 months before the start of the American Revolution. As soon as the American Revolution ended, the French Revolution began. These nations have always been under the same Masonic Jewish influence. All these headlines about the 84-year-old priest, it would later turn to 86, another special number. But with regards to 84 and priest and Catholic Church, the secret society within the Catholic Church is known as the Jesuit order. Jesuit has gematria of 84, 84-year-old priest, Jesuit. Right now, the current pope is the first Jesuit pope. He has birth numerology of 84, which we'll get to. United States of America also has gematria of 84. You read about the history of this nation and the Jesuit influence, you see the significance. What the Jesuits are controlled opposition within Christianity. The Jewish people created the Catholic Church. The reason that there's all these stories in the headlines about the Catholic priest being rapist of little boys is in part somewhat of a mocking by the Jewish people who run the media. If you read the Jewish holy texts, it says it's okay to have sex with little boys. It's permitted for Jewish men to have sex with little boys. It's okay in their Jewish faith. It's why the Jewish people came to the United States and set up freedom of religion. Judaism was banned in many parts of the world because of all the sick, perverse things in their religion, such as it's okay to have sex with little boys. And look at all the perverted things the Jewish people do. After circumcision, they suck the penises of the little babies. They suck off all the blood. A lot of very disturbing things in the Jewish faith. There's a reason Jews have been banned all over the world. There's a reason they came here and set up their Jewish nation, which is what the United States of America is. Jewish equals 74, Masonic equals 74. The reason this nation's birthday is 7-4 has everything to do with the Jewish banker tyrants who created this nation. Independence Day equals 74. Holiday equals 74. So there is the significance of saying the priest is 84 years old. The priest, or the Pope, Pope Francis, he visited the United States last year. He left on September 27th through Philadelphia. That was the Jesuit order's birthday, the day he left. He's the first Jesuit Pope. The day he was born, December 17th, 1936, is a date with 84 numerology matching Jesuit. As for this priest who was beheaded, priest also happens to be a word with 33 gematria. If you go back and watch all the videos I've put out on ISIS and propaganda, they always figure out a way to code a 33. 33, the number of symbolism to the Freemasons who believe in order out of chaos, divide and conquer. Priest has gematria of 33 as well as 42. The breaking news, priest killed in ISIS-inspired attack. That has gematria of 153, and 153 is the number often paired with 42. Remember in the Bible, there's the miraculous catch of 153 fish. Fish has gematria of 42. Miraculous has gematria of 42. The word fish also has gematria of 33. So that's why we get this headline with the 153 coding. It has Christian significance like the Catholic Church. It corresponds with the gematria of priest. It's all propaganda by the numbers. And again, when they first reported that the priest was 84 years old, we just saw the Bastille Day attack with 84 dead. The president of France, his name in gematria sums to 84. They said the attacker on Bastille Day was from Tunisia, northern Africa, which the date April 8th, 1904, just before World War I, was the date where Britain and France signed their military alliance to carve up Africa, to destroy its people, to steal its resources, which threatened Germany and set a ball in motion that led up to World War I. All of these events right now are propaganda leading up to the next World War, which was written about by the Freemason Albert Pike during the time of the Civil War. He wrote about the 3 world wars to come. He wrote that letter 43 years before the First World War. He was a Civil War general. Civil War equals 43. These people have been operating by the numbers for centuries, something that will continue until the day we stop it. So in the end, they made the priest 86 years old. They even mentioned how they earlier said he was 84, but really he was 86. You know what? I bet you if there weren't people like me out here in the world exposing what's going on, they probably would have just kept the story at 84. But they don't want to be exposed, and they don't want their number patterns to become too clear to the masses. So they have to switch it up a little bit and say he was 86. The word symbol equals 86. The word triangle equals 86. The word pyramid equals 86. When you write out 19 as a word, it sums to 86. They did say the attacker was 19 years old. So the ages fit. 19 equals 86 in gematria. The name of the priest, Jacques Hamel, gematria 43 and 52. This is interesting because Vatican equals 43, Pope equals 52, prophecy equals 52. The madmen are fulfilling the book of prophecy, Revelation, with propaganda and terrorism by the numbers. His name in simple English gematria sums to 115, like Freemasons, the plural, like killing. He was supposedly beheaded. Notice his last name has gematria of 39. That's the number of books the Jews go by in the Old Testament. Again, the Jews created the Catholic Church as controlled opposition. Think about all the division Catholicism has created within Christianity. How anyone could be a Catholic, I do not know. So, more specific, the location of his attack in Normandy. I don't speak French, I'll mutilate the name, but the name in gematria, the specific region where he was beheaded has gematria of 129, which is just like America in Jewish gematria. Again, all these parallels between what's going on in France, the United States, Britain, these are all Masonic nations. They're all allied in this fear-mongering, needless war, creating Islamic boogeymen. These are the real terrorist and tyrant nations. The president says ISIS has declared war on us, and they emphasize that has declared war on us. Has declared war on us has gematria of 191 and 74. The official name for the Jesuit order is the Society of Jesus. That's what the Jesuit order's official name is. Society of Jesus equals 191. If you haven't seen my work on the Catholic college basketball team just outside of Philadelphia winning the college championship this year, they won it exactly 191 days after the Pope left the United States. Exactly 191 days after the Catholic Pope left the United States, the Catholic basketball team won their championship. And the final score was 74-77. Jesus equals 74. Christ equals 77. Society of Jesus, 191, winning 191 days later. As I continue to say, the world of news, the world of sports, it's all scripted by the numbers. Pro and college, it's all the same. Controlled by the same Masons, the same Zionists. The small way has declared war on us, has gematria of 74. So does Roman Catholicism, so does Masonic, so does Jewish. They emphasize that it's been 19 months of terror. Again, we talked about the significance of 19 to the Quran, to Islam, and that's what they're targeting, creating this Islamic boogeyman. The Vatican speaks out, of course. They have this man talking about the Vatican speaking out. His name is Justin Welby, which has gematria of 43, just like Vatican, 52, just like Pope. Notice the initials too, JW. J is the 10th letter, W the 23rd, 10 plus 23, 33, like priest. In simple English gematria, Justin equals 93, like propaganda. Welby 67, like Freemasonry, like satanic, like Italy, where the Vatican is. Here's Justin Welby. Evil attacks the weakest, denies truth and love, is defeated through Jesus Christ. Pray for France, for victims, for their communities. You know, I know people don't like when I bring up this point, but we've been lied to from the beginning of our lives. and likely until the end, unless we can stop what is upon us. And one of the strongest lies we are given from birth for many of us is religion. Religion teaches you to be fearful, to submit, to follow, to stop thinking. If there ever was a Jesus, I assure you his real name was not Jesus. Jesus has the same gematria as Masonic, as Jewish, as cross, as Messiah, as Lucifer, as gospel. All of these words were created based on the code. And what I really think they have done is they have figured out a way to steal people's energy and get them to commit to something that is wrong. Look at all the Christians praying to Jesus and watching the world get worse around them every day. What I really think they have people doing is praying to Lucifer, praying to something evil. Jesus equals Lucifer in gematria. Jesus equals Lucifer equals Muhammad. They're all the same. Think about it. After all these false flag attacks, you see these Masonic men, these Zionists, they go before the people and tell them to pray. Amen equals 33. The Masonic number of obsession. People don't learn. Here's another one. French PM. We will stand together. They emphasize it. We will stand together sums to 87 and 96. The word priest, the big way, sums to 87. Freemason 96. Satanism 96. His name is Manuel Valls, which has gematria of 33 and 42, exactly like priest. 132, the big way, just like Catholic Church. Think about CC 33, CC 33. They said Christopher Columbus was Jewish and he was sent over by the Catholic Church. Christopher Columbus, CC. We celebrate Christopher Columbus Day in October, the only month that sums to 33. Think about it. Here they're sure to mention 67 miles northwest of Paris. So that covers it for the priest. For a quick review on the movie Bastille Day. This movie was about countering terrorism on Bastille Day in France. It came out April 22nd, 22/4. In France, they're in the 224th year of the French Republican calendar. Terrorist strike in gematria equals 224. France has had a lot of terrorism in their 224th year, starting with the November 13th Paris attack. The French calendar began September 23rd, the date the Pope was meeting with the President in the United States. On 9/23, they took the White House lawn at 9:23 in the morning local time. This movie, Bastille Day, it came out exactly 84 days before the 84 reported dead in France. And if you saw the dead that they showed on TV, it was very clear that they were plastic dummies with fake blood. Nobody died in France. It was a staged hoax, an operation, propaganda. Dummies has gematria of 84. No coincidence. A lot of other things interesting in this. From New Year's Day of the French Republican calendar, the 224th day of the year, until this movie came out on 22/4 was 213 days. French Republican calendar equals 213. So this movie came out on a very strategic date, foreshadowing what was to come on Bastille Day. Here's the French Republican calendar. New Year's Day for the 224th year, September 23rd. There was also a movie that came out that was supposed to release the week of the Charlie Hebdo attack. It was called Made in France, gematria of 224. They pushed the movie back to the week of the Friday the 13th attack, and then they postponed it again. You see how they make these movies as hints at the real terrorism that they have planned? The original definition of terrorism is government by intimidation. France, the United States, Britain, these are all terrorist, Masonic, Zionist Jew nations. Made in France also has gematria of 93, like propaganda, like Tunisia, where they said the boogieman was from. All this 223 coding comes back to the Masons. Friday the 13th has gematria of 223. The original Friday the 13th superstition comes out of France, where King Philip burned the Knights Templar at the stake in the year 1307. The Knights Templar were the Masons of their time. There was the bombing of Maelbeek Metro Station on March 22nd, 22/3 in Belgium, France's neighbor, 223. It had been 223 weeks since there'd been a terror attack in Belgium to the day. That attacker 223 weeks earlier was 33 years old. Belgium in gematria equals 33. You can go back and watch those videos I made. There's a whole lot more to it. I'm bringing up this 223 because this movie also released 2 months and 23 days before the attack. Another 223 coded right in. These Freemasons, they abide by this number code. They always operate this way. They've always operated this way. By learning to recognize this, you can see through what they're doing in record time. Remember, the day after the Bastille Day attack, there was a coup d'etat in Turkey, another nation controlled by these same Masons and Zionists. The term coup d'etat comes out of the French Revolution. We had a Bastille Day attack and then a coup d'etat the day after. Turkey, the biggest ally of France and the United States against ISIS. Very transparent. Look at the two main characters in this movie. Sean Breyer, Michael Mason. This is for this movie Bastille Day. Sean Breyer has the same gematria as Freemason, Zionism, history. Michael Mason, same gematria as Scottish. Scottish Rite Freemasonry came to power in France. Mainstream, dishonest. Michael Mason. Bava Kamal 113A says it's okay for somebody who's Jewish to lie to somebody who's not. And it's the Zionist Jews who control the media and use it to lie to people every day, to scare them needlessly. Tyranny. In France, if I was in France right now, I would be in prison, because in France you can't do this. It's illegal to speak against the Jews. Think about that. When I was younger, I used to hear about how there's this beef between the United States and France, and I never really paid any mind to it. But I used to be a teacher, and for a short period of time, I was a long-term sub at a French-American school, and there were a lot of French teachers there, and they were the biggest assholes I've ever met. Just turn their nose at you, look down at you, won't even respond when you say hi to them in the hallways. France is a very Jewish nation. These people have taken on the spirit of the Zionist Jew, which is an evil spirit. These are disgusting people, and you can see what they've done to the nation of France and the people who come from there. And as I say that, trust me, I think very much the same of the people in the United States of America. I don't think highly of my country at all, but having met plenty of people from France, I've seen enough to see what's been done to the people of that nation. Divide and conquer, that is the way of the Mason, that is the way of the Zionist Jew, and so is coding things by the numbers. These people, they think we're dumb, they think we're retarded, they think we're easily manipulated. They're in large part very much correct, but not all of us are what they think. And I'm trying to make more people like me, because if more people were like me, these people would be done for. They would have been done for a long time ago. Until next time, true